Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone this morning is Jack Myers with Social Security. Good morning, Jack. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for making time for us. And I know spring training right around the corner. You and I are talking about that, the ice that rolled through yesterday. With ice coming through, it's hard to think about baseball and spring training. But, hey, at least that's on the horizon, right?
Yeah, yep, it is. And, hopefully the ice didn't impede any traffic of the spring training equipment trucks heading down to Florida or up to Arizona.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, Jack, let's dive into some Social Security things here for this morning. And I know that we have talked a little bit about your, it's almost a podcast, I would call it, for Social Security. And your latest episode highlights a topic that just does not go away in scams. Tell us about the podcast. Tell us about the latest episode, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, we've kind of talked a little bit about it. We're calling it a podcast. I don't know if Social Security officially calls it a podcast, but that's how you and I'll describe it, because I don't know another way. But basically, if you go to our website, go to ssa.gov. Probably the easiest way to get there is to scroll down and look for something that's called Communications Corner, and then once you're there, look for audio series, and then you'll find this thing called SSA Talks, where we've got a few episodes, just a variety of different topics, but something that's kind of interesting, especially given the fact that we're in the month of February. We're approaching Valentine's Day, and there's a discussion on scams. So you might wonder, what in the heck do scams and Valentine's Day have to do with one another? But this particular episode of SSA Talks is with Rebecca Rose. She's a senior public affairs specialist in our Office of Inspector General. So if you don't know what Office of Inspector General is, that's basically where they investigate fraud and scams and that sort of thing. And so, SSA's Office of Inspector General does a little bit of a discussion in this episode of SSA Talks. And one of the things that I think is real interesting with this discussion is, not only does it talk about scams and how to identify them and hopefully, stop yourself from being a victim, but they also included testimony from a woman named Kate Kleiner. And Kate is a widow who unfortunately lost $39,000 to a romance scam. And there's my connection to Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, a lot of these scammers will prey on different things, and loneliness is one of those things. And so these romance scams can really be terrible. They can cost people a lot of money. And as Kate will kind of tell you through testimony there, she's going to offer different things, advice on recognizing and reporting these scams. And hopefully we can help people avoid this sort of thing. That $39,000 obviously is a huge loss for anybody. And the problem with these scams, among many problems, is that once that money's lost, it's often lost in ways that make it pretty much unrecoverable. They're good at getting you to convert to gold or crypto or cash or any number of things that once they're gone, they're pretty much gone, and you can't get it back. So tune into that if you want to hear about that, kind of think about that sort of thing, what you can do to avoid that sort of thing, or maybe what your loved ones can do to avoid that sort of thing. Again, you can find that by going to the ssa.gov website, scroll down to Communications Corner, and then look for audio series. Once you're there, you'll find the SSA Talks podcast, if you will, and then you can look for the scams episode and listen, give it a listen. Hear it. We'll probably talk more about scams in the coming months, because we've got something around the corner that we do every spring, to kind of highlight scams. But given the connection to Valentine's Day, I thought this info on the romance scam that Kate was a victim of was pretty timely.
Very good, Jack. So good stuff. Check that out. And how often did you say those episodes come out?
They're not really on a set schedule from what I can tell. They've been a little bit sporadic. I think we're up to 5 or so. I think this was episode 5. I haven't seen if a new one's come out recently,
Okay.
but 4 or 5, and that just kind of as needed, I guess I'll say, or as they have topics that they want to address that way.
Fair enough. Very good. Jack Meyer, Social Security, on the phone with us for today. And, Jack, we talk so often about when you can start receiving Social Security benefits. And I'm sure for the most part, when folks become eligible, they start to think about that. And that's something they take advantage of. But let's say there's individuals out there that when they do become eligible, they just defer on those benefits. And let's say that someone is approaching age 70 or they are age 70 and they're not receiving Social Security benefits. Let's talk about that scenario today.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of touched on the fact that it is a choice, really. I often describe it as the most difficult choice a person has to make when it comes to Social Security is when to start collecting that benefit. You are first eligible when you turn 62, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be the most logical approach for a particular individual. There are a lot of things you got to think about. Number one, you're not going to get your full benefit at 62 because, in order to get 100% of your benefit amount, you have to wait till what's called your full retirement age. So depending on when you were born, that's going to be 66 or 67 or somewhere in between there. Basically, Seth, it changed to 67 for anybody born 1960 or later. But if you're born in the years leading up to 1960, it's going to be somewhere between 66 and 67. But, that's going to be the 100% point. If you choose to take it at 62 or some point prior to that full retirement age, you're going to get a lower amount. And the reduction is going to be based on how early you took it. But in addition, and that's a permanent reduction, I should mention that too. But in addition to that, there's also going to be a limit on how much you can work and earn if you're collecting benefits. So, that's not going to appeal to everybody. So you have the group that wants to take it early. Then you have the group that wants to wait until that full retirement age. But then you also have the option of, like you said, deferring and not collecting that benefit. So if you get to that full retirement age and you decide that you don't want to collect your benefit yet, it will actually grow at a rate of about 8% per year up until age 70. And you don't have to continue working for that to grow. You just have to choose not to start collecting your retirement benefit. So if you do that, you'll actually increase that. And, it's going to depend on how far you are away. But if your full retirement age is 67 and you choose to wait until 70, you're going to add 24% by doing that. So that might be the best approach for you. But if you are 70 and you haven't started collecting your benefit from Social Security yet, there is no advantage to deferring it any further. So at that point in time, you need to go ahead and get signed up because it's not going to grow beyond the age of 70. There is no earnings limit once you get to your full retirement age. So even if you're still working full-time, earning whatever you want to be earning, it doesn't really matter because there's no limit. So you can still collect your Social Security benefits starting at full retirement. And if you've chosen to defer, you might as well start taking it when you get to 70 because you're not gaining anything by deferring any longer than age 70.
That's a good point to bring up. Very good, Jack. So keep that in mind. Again, Jack, where do folks go for that information? How about that?
Yeah, of course, you can check out our website. We've got a lot of good info on the website at ssa.gov. If you're looking to apply for your retirement benefits, maybe this age 70 thing applies to you and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to do that. Well, you can go and you can apply right there on the website. So go to ssa.gov/apply. If you don't want to apply online or you don't want to get your question answered online, you can also give us a call. You can call us at 800-772-1213. That's going to be our national toll-free number, but you can also find a local office number if you go to ssa.gov/locator. There you'll find information about your local office based on your zip code that you put in.
Jack, are Social Security benefits taxable?
They are potentially. It's, in Illinois, they're subject to federal income tax. Well, that's kind of silly. They're subject to federal income tax everywhere, but they're not subject to state income tax in Illinois. So there are some states that might tax them, but Illinois doesn't. But you are potentially going to owe federal income tax on Social Security benefits. And whether or not you do is going to depend on something called your combined income. So what is that combined income? Well, it's going to be your adjusted gross income plus any non-taxable interest income you have plus half of your Social Security benefit. So when you add those things up, and if you file your tax return as an individual, your combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000, then you're going to have to pay federal income tax on up to half of your Social Security benefits. If you're more than $34,000, then up to 85% of your benefits may be taxable. And then if you file a joint return, that threshold is $32,000 to $44,000, and then above $44,000, you're going to pay tax on up to 85%. So basically, what it breaks down to, Seth, is if you're filing as an individual and your combined income is $25,000 or more, it's going to be taxable. If you're filing as a joint return, if you're $32,000 or more, your Social Security benefits are going to be taxable. So for a lot of people these days, those benefits are taxable. Those limits have been in place for many, many years. So it started years ago as not a whole lot of people paying federal income tax on Social Security, has transitioned through the years to a lot of people paying it. So yeah, there's a pretty good chance that you will owe some federal income tax on Social Security. You need to be aware of that. And then if you want, you can ask us to withhold federal income tax from your monthly payments. There's a form called a W-4V that will allow that to be done for you.
Very good. So how about just some ins and outs on that, Jack? Did we miss anything there we need to put out there for folks this morning?
Well, a couple things I guess I should point out. By now, you should have gotten, if you got benefits from Social Security last year, for example, then in 2024, those benefits would potentially be taxable. So as you get ready to do your 2024 federal tax return, you will need to be thinking about that. We have sent out what we call SSA 1099s. So you should have gotten that in the month of January, showing what your Social Security benefits were for 2024. If you've misplaced that, you can get a replacement on our website. So go to ssa.gov, log into your My Social Security account or create an account, and then you can get that 1099 real time. So you can just pull it up, print it, save it, whatever you need to do, but you can get access to that immediately there if you don't have it. And then on the W-4V stuff, if you're finding out now as you're filing your taxes for 2024 that you owe income tax from last year because of your Social Security and you want to avoid that in 2025, you can submit that W-4V to us at Social Security, and the IRS will allow us to withhold either 7%, 10%, 12%, or 22%. So you've got four choices there, 7, 10, 12, or 22. And then you can change that by submitting a new form whenever you want. Again, the withholding is voluntary. Of course, the tax part of it's not, but the withholding as you go through the year is voluntary, so you can start, stop, or change that whenever you want to.
Very good, Jack. Good stuff. Again, where do folks go for all that information?
SSA.gov, and if you're looking for that W-4V, go to ssa.gov/forms, and you'll find it there.
Jack Myers with Social Security, my guest on the phone today. More to come with Jack on the morning show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. A steady start for corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. March corn opening 491 and a quarter, down 2. May corn down 2 and a quarter, 502 and a half. And new crop December 467 and a quarter, down 1 and a quarter. March beans starting the day 1057 and 3/4, up 3/4. May beans up 1 and a quarter, 1073 and a half. And new crop November 1063, up half a penny. March wheat 573, up 3/4. May wheat up 1 and a quarter, 585 and 3/4. And July wheat 598 and a quarter, up 1 and a half. March bean meal 307.60, down 70 cents. March bean oil $45 even, down 9 cents. Opening numbers on this Thursday morning. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Are you wanting to learn more about your health and wellness options in Central Illinois? Visit stealthwellness.com or click on my banner ad at dewittdailynews.com. Let me, Dr. Bill Byers, show you some simple, under-the-radar ways to improve and take control of your health.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at dewittdailynews.com.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus, streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app and Amazon Alexa. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10. All brought to you by Keith Wade, your country financial representative, Studio 505, and our exclusive sponsor for our player of the game, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties, the leader in fire, water, and mold restoration.
Despite overwhelming support from Democrats and Republicans, time is running out for Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act, which will keep AM radio in cars. Text AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to a vote now. AM radio is too important to let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Jack Myers with Social Security. And Jack, let's dive into, we talk about, and lately we've talked a lot about, Social Security and benefits and, disability and retirement and those sorts of things. But you can kind of keep track of Social Security no matter what stage of life you're in. Let's dive into that here this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, Seth. We touched a little bit on this in the last segment when we were talking about the taxation issue and getting your 1099. That's a great example of what you can do on our website at ssa.gov with a personal My Social Security account. I don't think there's much debate from folks as to whether or not it's a good idea to have one of those accounts when you're collecting Social Security benefits, because there are some obvious advantages like the ability to get a replacement 1099 or change an address or phone number or direct deposit if you're getting Social Security. But I think what people don't necessarily realize is that there are a lot of advantages to having a personal My Social Security account long before it ever comes time to start collecting a benefit from Social Security. So if you're 18 years of age or older, I encourage you to create that My Social Security account for yourself at ssa.gov. It's kind of like your own little personal portal into your Social Security info. So when you go to our website at ssa.gov, you're seeing all the general info. But when you create that My Social Security account, then you've got a little window into your info. So you can get great information like what is your estimate of your future retirement benefit? what is an estimate of what you would qualify for if you become disabled? What would your family qualify for if you pass away? So those are all key things to have. In addition to that, you can also take a look at your earnings record. One day when you go to collect Social Security, your benefit is going to be based off of your lifetime work history. So it's important to make sure that those earnings are posted to your record correctly on a regular basis. And if you spot a problem, it's pretty easy to fix it if you still have the tax document. So if you see now that in 2023 your employer reported the wrong amount, or for whatever reason didn't report an amount at all, you could get your W-2 to us and we could get that fixed pretty easily. But if you find that out 20 years from now and you don't have that W-2 anymore, we may not be able to get that adjusted for you. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on that on a what I call a flow basis. Another good advantage is, you might not realize this, but the number one reason that people visit a Social Security office is for Social Security card related business. So if you've misplaced your card and you need a new one, if you've got a driver's license or state ID from Illinois and most other states, you can log right into your My Social Security account, put information from your driver's license in, and get a replacement card. It's really slick, really easy. You don't have to visit an office. You can't make any changes, but if you just need a replacement card, you can do that there right through your My Social Security account. So just one of many reasons why it's a good idea to set that account up, and why we say it's kind of there for you at every stage, because it's not just something you need once you start collecting benefits from Social Security.
For sure. And if you are receiving benefits, I know that it's also a great resource as well. Why is that, Jack?
Yeah, so once you're getting the benefits, one of the things that we talked about, a couple of things you can use it for, but one thing I didn't mention that sometimes is real important to people, if you're getting any kind of needs-based benefit, if your rent, for example, is based on your income, a lot of times those places need you to certify or show them verification of what your income is, and they need that on a pretty regular basis. So you can log into your My Social Security account at any time and get what we call a benefit verification that shows how much your monthly benefit is, and it's going to be good for Social Security, for supplemental security income, or SSI, if you know our acronym for that. It'll also verify your Medicare status if you're on Medicare. So that's real handy for folks. You need that a lot. But you can also potentially even need that. Maybe you don't get needs-based benefit, but you're on Social Security and you're applying for a loan or something, and you need verification of your income for loan purposes. You can get that as well. So, in addition to being able to get that replacement 1099 or change your address if you're on Social Security, you can also get that verification of your benefits. And in all cases here, the idea, Seth, is just to save you the hassle of having to visit an office or call an office and get that stuff from us and wait for it. A lot of this stuff you can get real time right there in your account.
Jack, always good stuff. Again, the website is?
It's ssa.gov.
Jack, good to talk to you, my friend. We'll talk to you next month. Jack Meyer, Social Security, on the phone with us. Network News comes your way next on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W220.